Hey guys, this is Sol Dout with Soul Sense, and I'm here to tell you how to make liquid soap. So first off, you're going to use potassium hydroxide in order to make your liquid soap, and then you got to make sure you look at the purity of that potassium hydroxide and put that into your soap calculations. Also, whenever you're doing liquid soap, you want to make sure that you're not using any hard oils. Well, you can, like with coconut oil, but that's about it. Other than that, you want to go with something like olive oil, castor oil, something along those lines. And what that's going to do is make sure that your soap is translucent. That means you can actually kind of see through it. And another thing that'll help you out with that is actually using distilled water. With my recipe, I use that whenever I use my lye solution, but whenever I get ready to dilute my liquid soap, I use vegetable glycerin. So that's another thing that you guys are going to need. And what that's going to do for us is to actually make your soap a lot thicker than what it would be if you just used distilled water. So this time we're going to use a hot process method. So that means we're going to go ahead and cook down the soap until it's in a nice paste ready to dilute, and we can go ahead and do that almost immediately after we get it ready to go. So let's go ahead and get started. So what I'm doing here is mixing in my lye solution with my oils that have already been melted, and I'm using my stick blender. Obviously, I sped up the camera a little bit so you're not watching the entire process at normal speed. As we keep stick blending here, you'll see the oils in the lye solution start to saponify all together, and it's starting to go through all the changes that it makes during that hot process method. So keep stick blending and stick blending on until you get to that applesauce phase, which looks like it's coming up here in just a second. Keep stick blending and stick blending, then it'll go into mashed potato phase. And then once it gets to a point where you can't stick blend it anymore, you're gonna go ahead and take take whatever you got and stir it up. Yes, that's gonna prevent it from bubbling over and spilling over. All right. So once we get it to calm down and not boil over on us like almost as it did here in a few times, right, we get it, we cover it, and we let it set for about an hour and a half. Come back every 15 minutes or so to check on it and stir it up, and you do that periodically for a whole hour and a half. That's me checking on it, stirring it a little bit, make sure it doesn't boil over. It's not quite done yet. We cover it back up, let it set for a little bit longer. All until we get to the Vaseline stage, which is here. Okay, so for me, I like to let it cook a little bit longer after this. So once I get ready to test it, I take my distilled water, pour it into a small cup and I microwave it for about a minute. Then once I do that, I take a small spoonful of this liquid soap there, the liquid paste there, just a small bit. Take that, we mix that into this hot distilled water, stir it up all the way until it gets completely blended into that hot water. And what we're checking for, if the soap is clear, we want to be able to see right through that water. Still stirring it up, make sure it's all mixed through. Take a look at it, and that is clear, so we're good to go. Okay, so once we do this, we take the vegetable glycerin. I do a 2-to-1 ratio, 2 vegetable glycerin for every 1 pound of soap. I do double that of the vegetable glycerin. Okay, and once we do that, try to get every bit out as I possibly can. Okay. And then we just stir it up a little bit and we get ready to cover it. Now let's say if your soap paste into the hot water did not go clear. So what you can do is just let it cook a little bit longer. That just means that the soap isn't fully saponified yet. It's not finished. So just cover it back up and just let it keep cooking, and don't pour the vegetable glycerin just quite in yet. And once we get it covered up, then we're just letting it all melt together. So this could take overnight. So usually I just let the pot sit overnight. By the time I wake up in the morning, it looks just like this, ready to go. So just turn the pot off, let it cool, and then you have your translucent liquid soap ready to go. Now, you can do a number of things with this. You can put it into a bottle or a container to store it, or you can go ahead and add whatever you would like to it, like vitamin E or any kind of essential oil or fragrance oil, and bottle it up and get it ready to go. So that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. This is Sol Dout with Sol Scents, signing off.